it's not that easy to buy shoes as a vegan. And recently, my girlfriend and I were in a shoe shop together. I was in Detroit, Michigan, USA, and I was trying on a pair of shoes. And they're vegan running shoes. I was like, feel okay, but I mean, it's kind of mushy. It's not too stable. Let me put it this way. I just said flat. I wasn't joking around. I said, I really wouldn't want to be in a fist fight in this pair of shoes. And the guy selling the shoes laughed, and he was a very, very morbidly obese guy. I'm sorry, I'm not joking when I say that, but he was so overweight that really his life was in danger. It was at the point where he said himself he wears out his shoes very quickly. I think he has trouble walking and standing because he's that far overweight. And he laughed, and he asked me, look, how often do you get into fist fights? Obviously he's just trying to sell me the pair of shoes. Now, that wasn't my point. I didn't say to him, like, I'm looking for a pair of shoes for a fist fight or something. But when I'm picking a pair of shoes, it crosses my mind, is this going to be reliable in some kind of, predictable worst case scenario? And a couple of other YouTubers have kind of asked me about this, because when I've talked about why I work out the way I do, why I try to do 200 push-ups a day, bench press 200 pounds, stay in a certain kind of physical shape, my reasons aren't really about vanity or being attracted to the opposite sex. They aren't about a lot of other things. For me, it is based on a kind of ethic of preparedness for the inevitability of violence and unpredictable situations breaking out around me. This is a Cambodian scarf, by the way. This is a... Nobody ever tried to rob me in Cambodia. Nobody ever tried to start a fist fight with me in Cambodia. But when I lived in Cambodia, many of the other people I knew got into exactly those situations. Being robbed, being mugged, strong-armed robbery, being mugged at gunpoint, having fist fights started with them. Even when I was living in Kunming, China, some of the guys got kind of sort of bullied, and it never happened to me. There are different factors there, including the fact that I'm sober all the time. I drink zero alcohol. But yeah, I stay prepared. And we had a funny situation yesterday. Yeah, last night on the bus. And this guy, he didn't start out intending to start a fist fight with me on the bus. I don't even know if this guy is crazy. He's probably just a lonely, sad person. What would you put his age at? Maybe 25. Thereabouts. Maybe 20.
Yeah, I thought he was 25 at least.
Okay, 25. All right, 25-year-old guy, and interestingly, what I was talking to my girlfriend about privately, my girlfriend is on my right-hand side, and in a normal indoor voice, I'm not shouting or anything, I was actually having a conversation with her about the fact that during really stressful times in my life, when I had a lot of work to do and a lot of problems, I would calm down and space out my work by washing my hands more often. That, like, on the job, I'd get up, wash my hands, look in the mirror, go outside, dry my hands. That I'd try to kind of, as a kind of stress, I would wash my hands more often than usual as a stress relieving measure. And for no particular reason, this guy leans over and says really loudly, "Hey, were you just talking about washing your hands?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he asked the question, "Has anyone ever thrown battery acid on your hands?"
No, has your girlfriend?
No, that's right. He specifically said, "Has your girlfriend ever thrown battery acid on your hands?" And my girlfriend's sitting right there. That's who I'm talking to. And I laugh. It's the most ridiculous question to ask a complete stranger on a bus. And I said as a joke, "Sure, twice this week. It happens all the time." I said, "Why would you ask me that? Why would you start a conversation with a complete stranger on the bus asking if his girlfriend has ever thrown battery acid on his hands?" Now, the guy could have taken that as a joke. He could have been no big deal. It was a ridiculous situation. But no, he was getting more and more aggravated. And, there's no point in my repeating every line that each of us said. But, it got to that point where I said to him, "Look, I'm a 39-year-old man. I'm not here trying to start a fist fight on a public bus in Victoria. But if you want to get out at the next stop with me, we can resolve it that way, and we can probably both end up in the police station and do the whole bit. You really want to take it that far. And, he was very angry. And before that, so I've got to say, before that, I did apologize, even though I had done and said nothing wrong. So I don't want to seem like I'm instigating a fist fight here. Before that, he said insulting things towards me. And I responded by saying, you know what? You're right. It's my fault. I apologize. Can we move on? But I think I did that 2 or 3 times. I said, you're right, and I apologized. You're right. I'm obnoxious. It's my fault, etc. Let's keep it moving. But that was not good enough for him. So look, I'm sorry. There's no real punchline to this story. It's really a nothing story.
He did get off at the same bus stop.
And he did, yeah. Bizarrely, he got off at the same bus. He shouted angrily when we got off at the bus stop because I said to him already, look, if you want to get off at the same bus stop as us, you can. And he was saying insulting things. He said, oh, you're a real tough guy. Yeah. You better keep walking. This kind of crap, And then, so, we got off the bus. And then, hilariously, he got off the bus also when he sat down in the bus shelter. Because I guess he didn't want to walk. But, the tragedy we all live with, sometimes you lose touch that some people lose sight of it, is that, peace is the shadow of war. Peace, order, and good government are all created by fear and enforcement and, an awareness of the danger, though not the difficulty, of breaking the laws that govern our daily life. And, I don't have anything against the people who go to the gym to work out for other reasons. Obviously, some people go to the gym to meet members of the opposite sex or meet members of the same sex. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But for myself, as someone who's devoted himself, as a hobby and to some extent as a career, to studying political history and just political reality, somebody who cares about making the world a better place, I'm really in touch at all times with the extent to which peace is in the shadow of war. And these kinds of things, fistfights can break out in the middle of nowhere for no good reason. And as my generation used to say, I'm always on my P's and Q's to watch out for these things before they escalate, before they pop off.